Hi Trap Tribe, it's me, Ashley of Trap Pray Love, and I am tired of y'all playing in my face. Just like dating a toxic person, America will say that they've changed their ways. I'll forgive them like a dummy, and then they're back with the same old shit. Over the holidays, I was trying to go light on content subject matter, so I decided that I wasn't gonna tackle race and misogyny and systematic oppression. I was going to do a challenge. This challenge was gonna be me going to different fast food restaurants, different chains, and trying their newest menu on the item and then rating it from 1 to 10. And it didn't turn out so well because honestly, I just tried that Wagyu beef burger at Arby's, and then I just had a lot of issues at Taco Bell. When I was doing this challenge for Taco Bell, I noticed that all of their new menu items was literally the same old ingredients remixed and reassembled on some type of tortilla type thing and then marketed to us as new. And I really started getting upset because I'm just thinking you just double the price on something that on these same 6 ingredients and acting like you've revolutionized the burrito. And the same thing happened at Papa John's. Papa John's literally took a slice of pizza, folded it in half, called it a papadilla, and charged us $10 for it, and then have no remorse for it. They're just
shut up, fatty.
Just you're gonna eat this folded up slice of pizza. And then the crazy thing about it, I'm one of those pizza people. When I eat pizza anyway, I fold it in half. So I'm just bro, what is the $10 for? The last straw with America playing in my face came with Congressman George Santos, who is also known as 2 middle school kids standing on each other in a trench coat, who New York fucking elected to represent some of their districts. So, who is George Santos? He's a politician that was elected during the 2022 midterms to represent New York's 3rd district. He campaigned on ending the socialist agenda of the left and campaigning that the 2020 presidential election was stolen. And yeah, he also doesn't give a fuck about gun laws and wants to restrict abortion. So y'all already know where I stand on it. During his campaign, he really bragged a lot about his resume and graduating from Baruch College and NYU, and just other aspects of his top G career. He also bragged that after he graduated from these colleges, he went on to work for Citigroup and Goldman & Sachs. Can you shut up? Do you guys hear him how my cat enters the room? Bro, you do not have to announce your presence. But he said after he graduated, he basically started working on Wall Street. But later, the New York Times found out that he was never enrolled in any of those schools and there was no employment history at either of these places. And he later came out and said, yeah, he embellished a few things on his resume, lying. So, to me, the craziest thing about how this whole investigation and how all this questioning started was because he was doing an interview for the New York Times and he started bragging again. And he said that he founded this charity for rescue animals called Friends of Pets United. And after that, the reporter tried to do research on that nonprofit and she couldn't find any documents with the IRS for that charity. So when she found that he lied about that charity, they started just looking into all of his shit. And bro, I'm just going to briefly list all of this shit that this dude has lied about, and just tell me in the comments what you think. This is it's just lying about shit that doesn't fucking matter, bro. So he said that during between 2020 and 2022, he made about $10 million in dividends and was making a salary about $750K a year. They found out in a financial disclosure that he only claimed to be making $55,000 a year by the time that he was elected. weird to lie about that. We already talked about he lied about going to school, but I did not tell you that he later confessed that he didn't even graduate from any college, like no college, like not ITT Tech, not ICDC college, no college. As you can imagine, at this point, when they're finding out that he lied about so much shit, people started looking into like everything this nigga has been saying. So it got to the point where like he was talking about being hospitalized for COVID back in 2020, and he had complications from an existing brain tumor. People found evidence of him around the time that he said he was hospitalized, and he was looking fine and okay. He also lied that his mother died in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Come to find out, she died in 2016 from cancer. But the biggest, like, most fucked up lie to me, and don't worry, there's more. He also lied about having 4 employees lost during when the Pulse nightclub shooting happened. And then when people looked into that, he walked that statement back and said, oh, they were in the hiring process, when like no one could find any ties to anyone who died during the shooting. I think that was like the most weird thing to lie about, because it's just like, bro, like why would you try to find like ties to like something so tragic and serious to a lot of people? He lied about being Jewish. He lied that his grandparents escaped persecution in the Ukraine during the Nazi occupation. And then that's how they moved to Brazil. But then people actually looked up their birth records and found out his grandparents were actually just born in Brazil. So that was also a lie. To me, one of like the big picture thing is like, not only because it's like a politician lying, that it's like really sad because you took someone who is like a young brown person, like not a white person, that has done all these things, and you know, at 30 he's only 34 and has accomplished all this stuff, and now I feel like now you've just made it that harder for young people to like really be vetted, like, you know. So now I feel like the next young great politician, it's going to be even like a harder process, because like, bro, you lied about all this stuff. And I definitely feel more connected to it because in a lot of ways, a lot of people, they'll hear me tell stories about like my background and stuff, and a lot of people around me, I lost a lot of friends because people just thought I was a liar. Like, I've lived in Europe, I've born and raised in DC, I've done like a lot of stuff, mostly because my parents were military, and because like I went to school, and a lot of people are just like, you're a lying ass bitch. Like, I'm not in any way being like, oh, George Santos, like this like represents me, but I think it does make it a lot harder for young people. Like, it's not a good look for like millennials. Like, you know, I feel like anytime I see a young person, a 30-something person, like doing the damn thing, being like the 30 under 30, coming up with these tech companies and all this, and then when you find out that they're frauds and they're liars, I'm just like, damn, you made it really hard for like people out here that are young people that are actually honest and actually doing the right thing. So yeah, that's just like my piece on that. But the other piece to it is like George Santos also has a criminal history. He got like wrapped up. He stole someone's checkbook and like made all these fraudulent purchases. So that's the thing that they're also investigating as well as since he lied about his money, now people are looking into like, okay, how did you spend all these millions of dollars on your campaign if you're broke? Like, so now people are looking into like embezzlement and a lot of that stuff. I think another thing that is like completely hilarious is that like now all of the Republicans in Congress are trying to like gently bully him. Like, they're all like saying their little snide remarks to like reporters and stuff. Basically like, oh, there's no room for this in the Republican Party. Like, what? No room for lying? The nerve of you guys. A lot of them are asking for him to resign. And George Santos like basically said,
I wish well all of their opinions, but I was elected by 142,000 people. Until those same 142,000 people tell me they don't want me, we'll find out in 2 years.
So basically the only way that anyone is going to get rid of him is if like the criminal charges actually like come through, and I guess that's like, you know, via prison. But so we're stuck with him. So I guess until that investigation comes out, you know, that is what it is. So basically, like, with all of this, as I've been following this story, it got me thinking like, okay, do we really even need Congress people? Like, how can we avoid this? Like what is it that Congress people do that we can't do? According to the House.gov, Congress introduces bills, offers amendments to bills, votes on passing them, and they also serve on committees. And so that got me thinking like, can't regular American people do all of that? Can't we just vote on issues ourselves without having like a representative that we like don't necessarily trust? Like, bro, because like I feel like if New York, like the congressperson is supposed to represent the people, and I mean like this dude's a liar, so that does represent New York. I just feel like if we don't want to deal with that third party, can't we just participate directly in the vote, like directly into politics? That idea is called a direct democracy, and some places do use this. In Switzerland, there's a form of direct democracy called the Landsgemeinde. Appenzell Innerrhodes and Glarus are the last two cantons where residents that are entitled to vote, they gather every spring in the open to decide on laws and expenditure. So like researching this, initially I was like, damn, this sounds pretty cool. But then looking deeper into it, these people in these two cantons gather 4 times a year to vote on hundreds of things. Counting the votes is extremely time consuming, so it takes extremely long for them to like actually agree and pass anything. So I was just thinking like, that doesn't sound feasible for America. Like that sounds extremely time consuming. The 117th U.S. Congress, and that was the one that was between 2022 and 2023, they enacted 362 public laws, which is a lot because remember, things don't just start as a law. That comes with passing bills, voting on bills, having it go through like Senate and and the president signing off on it. So when you really think about it, like regular people would have to look at thousands and thousands of laws every year and then like vote on it. And that just seems like, I don't know about y'all's work schedule and y'all's parent situation, but I don't have time to do that. Not even looking at the amount of time that it would take, the amount of knowledge that you would have to have on different subjects would have to be expansive. Like, I don't have time to learn about all of the issues that Congress is voting on. Like, I don't have a lot of experiences in a whole lot of other aspects of life. Like, all I know is like my little shit in my working bubble in my community. So I feel like that's something else that like leaving other people in my community like up to vote on it seems like kind of ridiculous. Like, I know people that can't vote on where to eat. Like, me trying to get my friends to decide which place to go on vacation is literally like negotiating a hostage situation. So it's like not even worth it. So I can't imagine if like bills and laws were up to like my neighbors. Like it would just be insane. And I'm not gonna lie, like it kind of started making me feel a little sad because I was like, damn, like Congress people are an issue. Like this is a lot of reason why a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not political. This is a reason why a lot of people vote because they don't trust politicians. Like a lot of people would trust themselves. So it made me sad because I was thinking like there has to be a better way, you know, like and then I was thinking like, what if there is an app, you know, and like an app would fix the problem of you having to show up and vote. An app would also probably cost less than what we pay Congress people's salaries. There's 535 members of Congress. They each make an average salary of $170K a year. That's like $92 million. I'm pretty sure. And that's like just on salary, what we spend on salary. And that's not on what we spend on all of the other expenses of Congress. So you could just like imagine how much it costs to run Congress when Congress is in session. And when I say we, I mean we, because that's where our federal taxes go. And like, as I was researching this, I came across this wild ass TED Talk by this guy named Cesar Hidalgo. Okay. And he's a Chile American physicist. And the title of this TED Talk is called A Bold Idea to Replace Politicians. In this TED Talk, basically he says, hey, let's get rid of Congress, go to direct democracy, but save time by automating it with AI. The app would spend time getting to know you, getting to know your interests by a series of like tests and quizzes, and also monitoring your phone by like algorithms and things like that. Because the idea is the AI will vote for you in elections based on your personality. So now the AI is the representative based on surveilling you. And to me, if this sounds like Black Mirror-esque, it is, and it sounds it sounds absolutely terrifying. One thing that makes me scared about this is just not only being one step closer to being enslaved by the robot overlords, but sometimes algorithms get things right and sometimes they get things wrong. For instance, like if I happen to be scrolling on Instagram and I land on a cat video for too long, I'm going to start seeing a whole lot of cat videos. Does that mean that my robot is now going to be voting for like cat rights and all of this stuff where I really don't give a fuck about it? Like, how will this work? I don't know. I have too many questions about it. And the other thing is too, like with a lot of the videos that I make on YouTube, I do a lot of research with shit that I really don't like. Like, so I research a lot of conservative stuff. Even making this video, I watched so many George Santos's like debates and speeches. So like, will that AI robot vote in my behalf conservatively because they think that's what I'm interested in? I don't know. The other thing that scares me a little bit about it is that there have been studies that are coming out that AI is definitely racist. And please forgive me for this part of the video because I'm going to be oversimplifying how this works, okay? So basically, if I want to teach computer software, a robot, what a criminal looks like, I have to show them pictures of criminals just over and over and over and over and over again. I have to show them this is a criminal, this is not a criminal, this is a criminal, this is not a criminal. In the US, if I'm showing a robot what a criminal looks like, what color skin do you think is going to show up more times than other races? Exactly. There are studies that show that AI does this, and that's because AI is ran by regular people. People are behind it having to feed information to the robot before it can make its own decisions. And that's like on many other like issues. If I want to right now Google pictures of like what is a good American, there's going to be a lot of pictures of white people. And this is where race lies in it. And that's where I think AI, being our Congress people, may be a little problematic. I do love the idea of AI. I do use a lot of like the chat bots and things like that, especially when doing like research and like refreshing on like little things. Like I used AI to tell me what Congress people does, you know, like in researching this video. However, I feel like it's still too new and still too like buggy and too ran by people for it to like run our government. Like AI engineers and scientists are already aware of this and they're already doing a lot of things to combat this. One thing that they are doing is trying to fix the gap between Black and brown engineers that are working on these robots. Because one of those things are, if you have more Black and brown people, more inclusivity in this industry, they are more likely to have more inclusive and less racist robots, right? So that's the end of this video, guys. What do you think? Do you think that like Cesar Hidalgo is like onto something, or are you like kind of where I am, like, oh, that does sound cool, I am kind of sick of Congress, but like, what do you think? Or do you have a completely different idea? Let me know in the comments. All right guys, that's it for me. Bye.